What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. Man, this boat is a little bit more than what I'm used to building, but the thing is really starting to come together, and we're going to make some headway in this video. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on the RLOS tournament. Now, as in the first episode, you saw Jason, he gave you some really good information, all the information for links to contact him, or if you want to fish in their club. Now, he was pretty modest about what's going on. I mean, the dude runs a tournament with his wife, Melissa, that has 50 boats every single week. 50 boats? I mean, come on. I talked to a lot of the tournament guys that are local to me and the directors. They're not pulling half of that. That's a lot of boats. That's a lot of trucks. That's a lot of trailers. That's a lot of organizing. And I just wanted to say congratulations to Jason and Melissa, because I think what they're doing is cool. I'm glad that I can be a part of building this boat for them. There's so much that goes into this tournament, and there's so much behind the scenes work that they actually do to make this happen. And not only that, but they're a husband and wife combo fishing team, and they kill it out there. They win, top 5, I think he said 4 times out of the 12 tournaments they do, while they're organizing the whole entire thing. I mean, the dude's a beast fisherman. I've heard some stories from the local guys. They come down here and they'll fish against our clubs that are actually gas-powered motors. And some of the guys told me that he came down here and he kicked their butts with a little electric, outboard, which to me just sounds crazy. But obviously the dude's a good fisherman. Obviously his wife is a good fisherwoman, and the tournament they're putting together is awesome. So I'm gonna jump right into this build. It's time for me to get back to work. All right, so when we cut out these holes in this existing back bench seat, it doesn't have a floor in here. It just goes right down to the bottom ribs. So I wanna put a floor in here, but I couldn't fit one piece in here as a solid piece. So what I did was I made 2 pieces. Bent them like a Z. And what I'm gonna do is slide them in just like this. The standing seam in the middle, I'm gonna put a couple of stitch welds across that and on the sides. And then I'm gonna install these battery trays, custom battery trays. Put these 2 in the center of it, like that. That will house 2 of his Dakota lithium batteries inside of there. Okay, so these pieces fit in here surprisingly very well. I notched out around this existing floor rib that's inside of the back bench. It's kind of weird, they just like cut it off. I mean, the boats I'm used to dealing with, all the welded boats, these are just flat all the way across. They don't come up inside of the back bench seat. But this boat is old as crap, and I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to install this yet because I have some 1.5-inch closed cell foam that I like to put underneath of that. That's exactly the gap from the floor to the bottom of these pans I'm putting in here. And I left them at the shop. So I'm going to bring them home tomorrow and install this. And then I'm basically going to bend a piece that's going to come flat on here. It's probably rivet to this, and then it's going to turn up about 8 inches. Enough space to get up above this center rib here on the outside of the hull. That way you don't have to worry about anything you put in here falling into this crack and getting stuck in the bottom of the boat. Just going to finish it off nicely, and then it'll all be covered with paint. So I don't have the foam. I'm going to go ahead and weld up this Livewell. I bent this up today. It's an exact replica of the plastic Livewell that he had installed inside of this hole that's pre-cut out. This is all 1996. This is old. It's very old. But he's got a little plastic fitting in here that went to the bottom of the boat. We're going to do away with that. We're going to weld a straight pipe from the bottom of this Livewell directly through the floor hull of the boat, and it's going to be a straight drop in. I'm going to go ahead and weld this up. Livewell is welded up. I laid some dimes on here. As always, welding is something that comes very easy to me after 20 years. I'm not going to install this right now because I'm waiting on some LED lights. I'm thinking about shooting 2 LED lights in the back of this just to light it up and trick it out a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and work on this back bench. All right, so another perfect example and reason of why I don't build boats like this normally. You can see here, I dropped this pan in and the middle, yeah, it's sitting down where it should be. You can see how it's V'd. That's because the sides are not sitting where they should be because of this lip on the inside of this back rear bench seat. This lip is about maybe a 1/4 inch taller than this rib, and I really need to attach these pieces to this rib. Not only that, I need the height clearance. I can't give up a 1/4 inch because he's got to be able to get the batteries in and out of here. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut this lip off. I'm gonna have to cut it completely off on both sides all the way down with a cutting wheel. It sucks, but it's gotta be done. Most of the welded holes that you see, they don't even come with a rib in here, most of them. And there's no gap in here. This is brought completely down to the floor and it's welded to the floor. Whereas in here, obviously you can see, it's got about a 2-inch gap. It's just because the boat is older and it's just different technology. But bottom line is we're already here, so we just gotta keep it going. Alright, so that was a pain in the butt, but I cut off those lips and now the floor inside of this back bench hatch, it's going to drop down flush, just sitting on this rib. I can attach it here. I cut the foam back a little bit on either side because I'm hoping to come through and drop some welds, stitch weld this seam all the way across the middle. On these outside edges, I'm going to try to just shoot rivets through here to hold it on both sides. Alright, so that worked out surprisingly very well. I went ahead and put all the rivets in the sides of these little lips I had turned up on either side of this drop-in floor, and everything lined up good. It dropped down, it's sitting flush on the rib now. I clamped them on either side. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some stitch welds across the center of this seam right here. In the boat, it's literally going to be a pan. Forgot to record me shearing it, but I cut it right here in the shear out of that sheet over there, and then I just notched the corners out with the cutting wheel right there. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to break this up into a pan, and then we're going to take it home and drop it in the boat. I'm using this LVD 180-ton hydraulic press brake. Let's get back to work. Now that the front deck compartment is sprayed black, we're ready to install this battery tray. This is a 3-bank battery tray. It's nothing fancy. It's just a 1/16 aluminum diamond plate pan basically. It houses 3 batteries in a row. I've got a 1/2-inch hole on either side. It's just for you to hook a bungee, or I like to use some of the bigger, thicker zip ties, and that's only because the batteries, once they're installed, most of the boats I do come with an onboard charger and battery tender, and the only reason you would have to remove them is if you had an issue with the batteries. So they're gonna be in there permanently. I don't really promote these trays or sell them on my website. I do build anything custom you might need, but one of these trays, the triple bank, these probably run you about 60 bucks. If you want a dual bank, it's gonna be about 40. One of these single banks is gonna be $25 a piece. And the only reason I'm putting these single banks into the back bench seat is because I'm mounting a pedestal seat post base in the center of the back bench seat, and the thing sticks down about 2.5 to 3 inches, so I want to leave a space in the middle just to make sure there's plenty of clearance, because the batteries are going to be on either side of that. And with this older style boat, the depth of the back bench seat is a lot shorter than a lot of the newer ones. Let's go ahead and put this thing in here. Starting to come together. It looks sick. This is the biggest back deck I've ever built in a boat, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's got tons of storage. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna have some cup holders, these holes on either side. I've got the metal to put on these vertical walls here. I've got to cut them, but just want to give you a little walkthrough of where we're at. Lots of storage up front. All in all, this thing looks really cool. Alright guys, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to call this one. There was a lot of metal that went into this boat. I've got a lot of time into it already. It's turning out sick. The layout is cool. The extended back deck is something new that I'm kind of excited about. I want to see how it's all put together and finished. I think it's going to be really cool. I did get the decals for the boat yesterday, and they are crazy cool. The whole theme for this boat is something that I'm really into. It's right up my alley. We got a cool paint job going on it. We got some cool turf colorways, so you don't want to miss that. I just wanted to say thank you guys, all the subscribers, the likes, the comments, all the kind words. It means a lot. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna try to do a little giveaway at the end of this build. I'm gonna give you guys some hats or something. I got a couple of hats I just got in. But anyways, this boat is it's really coming together quick. But I gotta get back to work. So I'll see you on the next one.